the big story that's been on everybody's TVs, phones, social medias over the last week or so. Last Friday, of course, all the news breaks right when we get done doing a show, but Robert Kraft and his deal that happened. Obviously, everybody's heard what's happened. They've heard the story. He got arrested at a spa for soliciting, prostitution, all that kind of stuff. Things that are not good. Things that are very illegal. And we all know the story. What does this mean for the Patriots going forward, Ian?
I don't really know, because you don't know what's going to come out of it for Mr. Kraft, and you don't know what it means for the Patriots organization. I don't know. What does it mean when your owner gets in trouble? Does he go to... I don't know what punishment he's going to get for this.
The punishment Jim Irsay got for, I think he had a DUI or something like that. He got suspended for like the first 6 games and had to pay a maximum fine of like $500,000, which for owners is pocket change. And missing 6 games, what are you doing? You're the owner. You're not really involved in game planning. So I think that's an interesting... I honestly, that's been the harshest punishment so far given out to an owner by the NFL. It'll be interesting to see how the NFL handles it. Now, obviously, there's a lot more facts present in this case, and the fact that there was a human trafficking ring involved, and how much Robert Kraft was involved in that. You have to wait for more evidence to come up before you can make any indictments. But if Kraft has been involved in that ring, I think the NFL has to demand that he sells the team. I think that's... would you agree that if he ends up having a major connection, he has to sell that team?
Yeah. There's no doubt about it. I don't know if you'd seen this. There was the report that broke. The day of the AFC Championship game,
he was
in Florida.
He was
visited a Florida massage parlor for sex acts.
Was it the same one?
Yeah,
I'd assume.
I'm not sure.
I would assume so, but again, I don't have that in front of me. But it's interesting because just because of the fact that he's a billionaire and just kind of all that other kind of stuff, and for him to be involved in that kind of thing, it's something that like a person on the street would be like, I'm not surprised, but also at the same time you're like, this is a huge deal for the NFL. The NFL has had PR disasters with their players, but now it's with, and when it happens with the owners, it's always a touchier issue, because with the players, you can fine them, you can suspend them. With the owners, it's a lot different story on how you handle this. And it's going to be very interesting, because again, if Robert Kraft was involved at all in the human trafficking part of this issue, you have to make Kraft sell the team. But I think the biggest thing, and maybe to step away from the crimes aspect so much of it and what the implications are for Kraft, when you hear Patriot fans and the Boston media, and sometimes even the national media, tell you the Patriots, they're an organization that always does things the right way, and you're like, the coach, the quarterback, the owner, the players, they've all had issues. Edelman did PEDs. Tom Brady with the Deflategate, Belichick with Spygate, Aaron Hernandez with... And again, Aaron Hernandez, he was just on the team. That doesn't have as much to do with the Patriot way or whatever. But just the sketchiness that's involved around this organization and they've had so much success, but to hear them say that they've always done things the right way, that's like Pete Carroll talking about his time at USA and saying, we always stood up for integrity and following the rules. And it's like, yeah, you won a lot of games, but you did it in a pretty sketchy way. And, it's just kind of that aspect. And I think whenever Boston media tries to tell you that the Patriots are the class of the NFL, they're a classy organization, you need to laugh at them every time they try and pull that on you.
Yeah, there's been so much that's happened, and it's almost like feeding fuel to the fire for the Patriots, because every year they just get stronger because of their, Julian Edelman did performance-enhancing drugs. Now, granted, I'm sure a lot of players have. You know what? I'll say it. I'm sure a lot of players have in every sport, and they don't get caught. And Edelman just got caught. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe there's a more thorough drug testing process than I am, aware of. But you know what? That's called cheating, sir. And you are now everybody's talking about Hall of Fame. Is he Hall of Famer? Based on his stats, not even close. Because there's players that have had much, much better careers than Julian Edelman. Granted, they didn't win a couple Super Bowls because they have the greatest quarterback to ever play the game, the greatest coach to ever coach the game, and but their stats are much, much better than Julian Edelman, and they're not in the Hall of Fame.
I think another thing with this whole Patriots and how the media kind of spin this, there was a story, I think, by the Boston Globe. I could be wrong. All I know is it's a New England, it's a Boston media organization. And they're like, this is Kraft's toughest challenge yet. And I'm like, that's how you're spinning that? That is how Boston, I mean, not all Boston media, I'm trying to be fair here. But there are some things where it's like, this is how you're spinning it, where it's like, this is their biggest challenge yet. Like, it's his toughest legal battle yet. Like, yeah, it probably is going to be. And if, again, facts come out, maybe the facts change, maybe he wasn't involved, maybe what his story is true. But I'm going to, right now, the facts are showing that Robert Kraft did participate in the legal activity of soliciting prostitution. Whether how far that goes into the ring is yet to be seen. We'll have to wait for more evidence to come up before we can make a full decision on that. But when you try and have New England, it's going to, watch the Patriots win another Super Bowl this year, and they turn around and go, we had to vindicate Mr. Kraft. And it's like, the Patriots never run out of bulletin board material. And for somehow, some way, the Boston sports fans and the Boston sports media are going to use this as a way to show that the NFL and the world is out to get them. They got to keep winning titles to prove their organization and all that kind of stuff. And that's just how it's going to happen.
Yeah, it seems like the Patriots always find a way to use something going on as motivation. Tom Brady's still annoyingly hanging his hat on the fact that he was, drafted so low. It's like, yeah, we get it. You've already proven to us that you should have been drafted higher. Stop.
Yeah, or we had to vindicate ourselves from Spygate. We had to vindicate ourselves from Deflategate. We had to, people say we're done. We had to prove that we're not done. All that kind of stuff, and they always use it to their benefit, which, is more a test of Bill Belichick, and he came from Bill Parcells, who is one of the best motivators ever, especially one of the best motivators in football history, and that's obviously shown with coaches like Belichick and with Sean Payton and their ability to motivate players. But, yeah, the Patriots are just going to use this as another way to fuel themselves to win another title, and it's going to be another, but this is a lot bigger than football, I think, in terms of the biggest thing, because, it's just, if Robert Kraft was involved in any criminal activity past the soliciting prostitution, if he has any kind of knowingness or any kind of stake in this human trafficking thing, as the NFL, you have to get together and say, Robert Kraft, you are not allowed to own the Patriots anymore. The owners all confirmed that we are forcing you to sell the team. And, he'd go to jail, obviously, too, if he had a lot of...
Yeah, if convicted, Kraft would face 1 year in jail, a $5,000 fine, 100 hours of community service, and attendance in a human trafficking dangerous class.
Exactly. So, again, he'd go to prison, but obviously the team would also force him to sell.
Yeah.
Or the league would force him to sell the team. And, it's always interesting, too, when you talk about selling teams, and people are like, oh, so what? They're just going to get, like when Donald Sterling had to sell the Clippers, are like, oh, so that rich guy's just going to get a lot richer? It's like, yeah, but he already has a lot of money. They want, Robert Kraft, if he was forced to sell the Patriots, he's in his late 70s, early 80s. He's an old man.
He's an old man.
He's an old man who's already has a lot of money. What is giving him more money at the end of his life going to do? It's going to do nothing for him. The Patriots were his life. The Patriots, if you asked in the 90s who Robert Kraft was, you say, oh, he's the guy who owns the macaroni and cheese company, or the cheese company. And then you ask him, hey, who's Robert Kraft? Before last week, you're like, oh, he's the owner of the Patriots. One of the greatest owners of all time.
And the New England Revolution.
Yeah, exactly. So, his whole legacy has been wrapped around cheese and the Patriots, but more so in the last 20 years than the Patriots. And, you take away his legacy when you take away the team, because that's all he has right now is his team. And it's, they already have money. So when you make him sell the team to get another $4 billion, they don't care. They already have the money. What they really wanted was the team and having that kind of, that they were associated with running that team. That was their project. That was their life. And when you take that away from them, you take away part of them.
Oh, yeah.
So, which is why, if convicted, he needs to get rid of it.
Yeah. I completely agree with that statement. You can't have this... You can't have an NFL owner doing this type of thing, And if he's convicted of the human trafficking ring no knowledge of this, then that's
obviously it's something really bad, like something really terrible, and the fact that it goes on in places like that is awful enough. And it's not good at all, and obviously it's one of the biggest issues that we face today, just around the world. And to have an NFL owner be involved in that, I mean, it's bad when anybody's involved in that, but to have an NFL owner be involved in that is the NFL would have to take action, even though Robert Kraft and Roger Goodell are good friends.